All right, percent increase and decrease. Basically, what we're talking about today is this. If we take a problem, for example, if I said this, I take a price, and the original price is $30, and the new price is $51. Okay, and I want to know what the increase from $30 to $51 is. Okay, so we're looking for a percent, and they're going to call it the percent change. Okay, first of all, did the change increase or decrease? Increase. We always look at the original price to see if something is increasing or decreasing. Okay, now, the formula that you use is this. The percent change is equal to the amount of increase or decrease over the original amount. Okay, the amount of increase or decrease over the original amount. Okay, obviously, if the new amount is greater, it's a percent increase. If the new amount is less than the original amount, then it's a percent decrease. Okay, so let's look back to this problem. So my problem is, first of all, I have to find out what the amount of change is. So to find out the amount of change for an increase, okay, the amount of change for an increase is equal to the new amount minus the original amount. Okay, so the new amount here, so the amount of increase here is equal to the new amount, $51, minus the original amount, which was $30. And so that gets me what? 21. So the increase was equal to $21. Okay, so I'm going to plug that into the percent of change formula. So the amount of change, so the percent change is equal to the amount of increase, 21, over the original amount, 30. Okay, so you have 21 over 30. Now, does 21 over 30 reduce? What's it reduce by? By 3. So what does that put on top? 7, and what on bottom? 10. So we divided the top and bottom by 3 to reduce the fraction. Okay, well 7 over 10 is not a percent. It's a fraction. So we got to change that fraction to a percent. Two different ways you can do it. Okay, number one is change the fraction to a decimal, and then the decimal to a percent. Okay, change the fraction to a decimal and then the decimal to a percent. Okay, that's step number one. Step number two use the proportion method to get the percent. In other words, A over B equal P over 100. Okay, I'll show you both ways. Okay, we'll show you both ways. Actually, 7 over 10, you should understand what percent it already is, just by the fraction itself. If I have 7 over 10, what's that going to be? 70%. Okay? But here's how you would do it if it wasn't that easy. You know, they're obviously not going to be that easy. Way number one is you would just simply take and divide 7 into 10. Excuse me, other way around. Reversed them. Okay, 10 into 7 doesn't go. 10 into 70 goes 7 times. Be 70, remainder 0. So you'd have 0.7, and then we'd have to move the decimal twice to the right. And that would give me 70%. Okay. Way number 2 that you can do it, simply take the 7 over 10 and set it equal to P over 100. Okay, we cross multiply. 7 times 100 would be 700. 10 times P would be 10P. And then we'd simply divide by 10 to both sides. Divide by 10, those zeros cancel. 10s cancel, leaving me with P is equal to 70%. Okay, so that's the 2 different ways that you can come up with the total there once you've gotten the amount of change. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the other formula. The other formula we need to talk about is the amount of change for a decrease. The amount of change for a decrease is the original amount minus the new amount. Okay, so that's what we're going to look at this time. Let's look at this one. The original amount is $1,953. The new amount is $1,085. So, is that an increase or a decrease? To decrease. From the original amount to the new amount is a decrease. So, to find out how much of a decrease, so it's a decrease, so we take 1,953 and subtract 1,085 from it. Okay, and what do you get? Not everybody at once. I don't see a whole lot of people writing except Derek. All right, just making sure. Couldn't tell because your purse was in the way. That was a joke. I was trying to show her that she's not supposed to have her purse in class. Joshua, what'd you get? $858. Did everybody get that? 858. Okay. So the amount of decrease is equal to 858. Okay, so I have 858. This is my percent change formula. I have 858 over the original amount, 1953. Okay, well obviously this one's going to be a little bit harder than the previous one. Yes, sir? 800 what? Oh, 68. My bad. I thought you said 58. 868. Still going to be a difficult one. Okay? At this point, probably just going to be best just to go ahead and divide 1953 into 868. Okay. Now, obviously 1953 doesn't go into 868. All right, so we got to divide it into 8,068 or 8,680. And it goes into that. Well, this right here is close to 2,000. So how many times does 2,000 go into 8,680? 4 times. So let's try 4 as our estimate. So 4 times 3 is 2, carry my 1. 4 times 5 is 20, plus 1 would be 21, carry my 2. 4 times 9 is 36, plus 2 would be 38, carry my 3. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 would be 78. So, borrow from that, make that a 10. 10 minus 2 is 8. 7 minus 1 is 6. Borrow from that, make it a 7, make that 16. Gives me 868. Then I bring down a 0. That number looks familiar. Why does it look familiar? Because it's the same number I just divided into. Okay? So that tells me that it's going to do this right here. Now, I said the other day that when you have a repeating decimal number and we're looking for the percent, that we need to round to the nearest 10th percent. So to round to the nearest 10th percent, I need 4 decimal places in my number. Okay? So I have 0.4444 ... So to change that to a percent, I move my decimal once, twice to the right, which gives me 44.44 ... Now I'm going to round. So I'm looking at that number, so I circle that number. Does the 4 that we're looking at stay the same, or does it increase by 1? Stays the same. So that means my answer then, the percent change is equal to 44.4%. And I'm going to be real honest with you, there's several of those in the homework this evening. Okay? So just remember, you take it out 4 decimal places. All right? I want you to try this one on your own. You have the original amount is 110. The new amount is 200. So first of all, is it an increase or decrease? Increase. On most of these, they're going to want that with the answer. So that was a decrease up here. All right, so we'll try to work that one out using the information you've gotten so far. All right, who has an answer? Derek? What? No. Matthew? No. I think y'all divided the wrong number or something. Tristan. Closer, but no. What? Yeah, it's 81.8%. All right, so let's look at it. First of all, we have to figure out the amount of change. So the amount of change here would equal 200 minus 110, which is 90. Now, here's where you might have messed up. Okay? It's 90 over 110. Because 110 is the original amount. Okay, it's always over the original amount. Then the next thing you can do is I can reduce it by just simply marking out the two zeros at the end. Or the 0 on top, 0 on bottom. And so that's P% equal 9 over 11. Now, we need a percent. So get a percent, I've got to divide 11 into 9. Now, granted, it would still work the same way if you divided 110 into 90. Okay, it's just a little easier if you go ahead and reduce it. So my decimal's there. So 11 goes into 90 8 times, be 88. Remainder 2, bring down my 0. That would be 1 time, be 11. Remainder 9, bring down my 0. That would be 8. 1, 8, 1, 8, 1. So it obviously repeats. So I have P% is equal to 0.8181. And there's your dots, because we only have to carry it out 4 spots. Now, I move the decimal once, twice. So P% is equal to 81.81 ... There's the number we want to round to. There's the number we look at. So the percent change is equal to 81.8%. Where did we mess up? Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay, so you have to divide the amount of change by the original amount. Let's look at another one. This one here, original is equal to 150, and new is equal to 63. Okay, do that one. 58% is what you should have gotten. Okay, there's the amount of change. There's the original amount. I didn't even reduce it. I just simply divided into there. All right? So your homework is this. Not a lot of it. We're going to go 2 through 11 and number 13. Okay? You may go.